Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So we have primaries coming up. Tomorrow there will be a video analyzing the whole slate of primaries that will be taking place on Tuesday. However, today we're going to be focusing on only one of those states, the state of Mississippi, which has two runoffs with RINO incumbents that potentially could get knocked off here. And we'll start off by talking about the 4th congressional district, because this one, you actually had the most opposition in the initial primary for the Republican side. And then we'll talk about the 3rd, which I believe to be a very consequential election that a lot of people are not talking about on the online right, which is partially why I am making this into a separate video. But we'll talk briefly about the 4th district. Steven Palazzo, he is a corrupt establishmentarian Republican. We understand that, and the voters are fed up. He voted for jab databases, etc. He has a lot of corruption stuff and scandals going on as well, and he didn't even get a third of the vote in the state of Mississippi's 4th congressional district, where he is the incumbent. He couldn't even get a third. So I think he is instantly going to be dead on arrival in the runoff. Clay Wagner has endorsed Mike Easel. Even if he didn't, it wouldn't really matter that much. Steven Palazzo, his career is over. You're going to see an upgrade instantly in Mississippi's 4th congressional district here, which is going to be so good to see. You absolutely love to see it. They are dropping like flies as we see it. In that district alone, it's funny, the New York Times said the state's 4 House members are seeking re-election. All are facing primary challengers, but are expected to receive their party's nominations. Yeah, that didn't really age well, and I'm very glad that it didn't. But beyond that point, you have also in the 3rd district a very important primary. You have Michael Guest. Michael Guest is a very establishmentarian RINO. That's what he is. He voted for the 1-6 commission. He's gone even more off the rails since 2020. In 2020, he was under fire because he's weak on immigration. He faced a primary challenge from the right, nice guy, James Tulp, but James Tulp only got 10% of the vote against him, and I didn't really think that Michael Guest was going to be vulnerable because of that fact alone. But then you look at this, and then this election happens, and we're sitting here on election night a few weeks ago, and it's like, wow, this guy's not even in first place. Who is Michael Cassidy? And we look into who Michael Cassidy is, and he is very good on every single issue. This is the Republican platform, or what it should be moving forward. If it was, the Republican Party would get power because it's popular, and they would never rescind it because that's how effective that it would be. And you're looking at this right now, Michael Cassidy taking 47.5% of the vote. It's a shame he did not get a majority. It's a shame that Thomas Griffin, whoever that was in the mix as well, which prevented Cassidy from getting to 50, which prevented him from winning outright. And beyond that point, it's also important to understand the significance behind this, because Republicans in this district were fed up at Michael Guest. And if you could look at the fact that these voters turned on this guy on a dime, where he got 90%, now he didn't even get 50%, it proves that if we actually run solid candidates that bring something else to the table in the primaries, that we're going to be able to primary out a lot more of these loser, weak, entrenched incumbents. Michael Guest, by the way, we know Roe v. Wade got overturned. It's epic. Michael Guest has voted to fund Planned Parenthood with billions of dollars. He also voted for the $40 billion garbage package to Ukraine. And he's voted for the Biden omnibus spending bills. And he has the audacity to sit back here and call Michael Cassidy a socialist, because Michael Cassidy has talked about a program that would invest in American families. And that's exactly what it would do. What it basically would do, he would provide newlyweds with a $20,000 wedding gift like they do in Hungary. It would raise the birth rate. What is the birth rate in this country? It's below replacement level. This is a major problem. It needs to be fixed. And Michael Cassidy wants to tackle this problem, and that would cost $33 billion a year. Michael Guest votes to send $40 billion a year overseas into Ukraine. Literally. That is what he's doing. That's where his energy is. He is an America Last Republican. He is not conservative in any way, shape, or form. And it is very important that Michael Cassidy wins this election. It is, because we need people that are going to be pushing the Overton window on these issues in Congress. I love Paul Gosar. I love Marjorie Taylor Greene. I think Michael Cassidy might even be better than both of them. I really believe so. And beyond that point, his policies will almost certainly be adopted by most based, Freedom Caucus members, the actual Congress people that do represent the will of the base, that do represent the will of the people and not the will of the donor class, that don't represent the globalist neocon agenda. Seriously, this is where we're at right now. You look at this, and he's under fire because he's actually standing up for citizens, and he actually wants to invest in us. Like this notion of this economically fixated Reaganism. Oh, we just have to, reduce spending in any way, shape, or form. These same people will vote for Biden's spending bills under the guise of bipartisanship. Like, these people are weak, they're liars, they're losers, and they'll just prevent us from getting anything done. They are controlled opposition. They need to go. We've had enough of these people over the past 50, 60 years. They're why we've won more elections than we've lost, but we've lost this country in the process, and that needs to change right now. Michael Cassidy, he's able to actually just come in and flip the script on the establishment, assuming he could win. And Mississippi, this is Mississippi's 3rd district, suburban Jackson, and a lot of the rural part of the state as well. Heavy Trump district. It's a perfect district to start this America First revolution in. And I think that this could very well happen. This is a very crucial election. It's probably the most crucial election we're going to see until August, if not for the rest of the cycle, in terms of a primary election, because more people like Michael Cassidy means actual change. I mean, how much change in the Overton window have we seen just because of Marjorie Taylor Greene's election alone? Michael Cassidy would arguably double that change just by getting elected. It doesn't mean that all of his policies are going to be in the mainstream or that they are going to be instituted overnight, especially under this administration. But if you could change the center of gravity in Congress, it's really going to show who these people are. The people that you're on the fence about, if you're going to be putting things like the family plan or an immigration moratorium, which Cassidy also supports, into the Overton window, and you see people caving on that and saying, no, we need to keep our current level. Maybe they don't talk about the issue. Well, it shows their true colors, and then they need to be primaried out by a Michael Cassidy. Like, this is where we're at. Look at him on the issues. Very good on election integrity. You look at the fact that, on life, he's winning on that issue, especially now, because Michael Guest decided to, over his career, Michael Cassidy's the socialist RINO. Okay, you're sending how many dollars, billions of dollars over your entire career to Planned Parenthood? Like, at least Michael Cassidy wants to spend well and smart to invest in our future, in our children, in our communities, in a sustainable form of social conservatism. Like, this is where it is. This is the lie that they will spew. These same losers on the right that will say, oh, we're fiscally conservative, can't do that. But what do they vote for? That's the real question. Immigration. This is another one. Immigration moratorium. He talks about this. Great news. And he basically goes on and he says that foreign-born citizens vote nearly 80% Dem, which is true. Why do they want mass immigration? For power. Even if it's not necessarily just the effects of it that have to do with voting, it's still for power. We understand this. It increases housing costs. It lowers wages. Corporations benefit off of mass immigration. Then they will donate their money to Democrats. It's a money laundering scheme. That's what it is. Immigration is a money laundering scheme for the left. We need a break. We've had how many people enter our country over the past 50, 60 years since Hart-Celler Act was passed initially in 1965? We need a break. We need a break. We had a break. We had one in the 1920s until the 1960s. You saw a lot of immigrants assimilate. We arguably opened up the border a little bit too soon, but that's the way that it is. We need one to encourage assimilation. We can't even assimilate our own children. People are going to say, oh, we're going to assimilate these people regardless. And it's like, how are you going to do that? You have to shut down the border, basically. And it's popular. They will say, oh, you can't do that. It's going to hurt you with Hispanics. But like, Trump was very tough on immigration, especially on rhetoric. He got a near record number of Hispanics, especially in like South Texas, where there's 3rd and 4th generation Hispanics. Those people tend to want to limit immigration a significant amount as well. Like, the immigration restrictionists on the right, like, the demography of them is probably, I don't know, you might have like more Hispanics in that group than you will like the neocon side of things. Like, that's the way it works. Then he goes on to say end birthright citizenship, which is true. Like, you can't just come over here and have a kid and then your kid becomes a citizen. It just should not work that way. We need to actually put the people of this country first and not be the dumping ground for the rest of the world's problems, specifically the third world's problems like we are now. And that is the way that it is. It is not politically correct. I do not care, quite frankly. I don't care. He's also very good on, ending the mandates. Obviously, we love to see it. He also wants to, change the curriculum. He's just good on every single issue that we see here. He wants to impeach Joe Biden, which again, is a very symbolic measure, one could say, because it's not going to pass through the Senate. But, obviously, I don't like Biden. I'm a simple man. I don't like Biden. So if you impeach him, that's a good thing, right? The American dream, let's see what he has to say for this. He basically has changed his rhetoric on the family plan because he's been pressured. I think a lot of that is because he's just trying to win the primary. I'm pretty sure after that he'll go back to it, but he kind of reworded it to talk about tax deductions. And he wants to also ban lobbying, ban corporations from buying up land by intervening in our elections. He's just very good overall on the issues. He understands that corporate power is just as big of a problem as government power. We need more people like this. These are the people that are going to win us elections. Trump didn't win a campaign in 2016 by saying socialism, socialism. No, he wanted to drain the swamp. He talked at length about limiting immigration. He wanted a wall on our southern border. He also wanted to pass the RAISE Act, which would cut it in half. And more people like Michael Cassidy in the Republican Party means we could actually see some form of reform in that regard come through and get passed. And we need it. This is what it comes down to. It's just one guy. But he's very good on the issues. He's been under attack by Michael Guest because, he's a socialist. Yeah, okay. Well, you're the socialist for Ukraine. I'll take the socialist that wants to invest in the future of this country. And by the way, he's not a socialist. He's actually more fiscally conservative than people would give him credit for. He wants to reduce regulations and limit taxes. He will vote to oppose every single tax increase possible. And we love to see it. He just wants to divert money away from Ukraine and into your pockets. So that's where the socialism part, I guess, kicks in. But either way, it's very important Cassidy wins. If you know anybody in Mississippi's 3rd District, you tell them to vote for him. You text them when you're done watching this video. You give them a call. Even if they live in Mississippi and you don't know where they live and what district, just message them because any vote matters. And is Cassidy going to win? The other question. I think the answer is possibly, if not even probably at this point. I mean, he had a very dedicated support base that came out of nowhere. He got 23,000 votes. Runoff turnout's typically lower. I think the Cassidy voters are more likely to turn out than the Guest voters. But then at the end of the day, Guest is a part of the GOP establishment. He was caught off guard. He still has a lot of money. He got Thomas Griffin's endorsement, even though I think those voters probably are going to come out for Cassidy anyways, because who is Thomas Griffin? Who cares about his endorsement? But either way, this is very true. You look further into this and you could see the fact that now Michael Cassidy is calling out Michael Guest because Michael Guest is asking Democrats to vote for him and bail him out. But if that happens, you're probably screwed, as this tweet says, which is true. Tom Rice did this. He asked for Democrats. Nancy Mace did not ask for Democrats to support her. She was the one that ended up winning. Tom Rice got decked. So, I don't know. This is either going to go down the wire either way, or Cassidy's going to win by 20, but don't get complacent. If you're in Mississippi's 3rd, vote for him, canvass for him, knock doors if you can, etc. Do anything you possibly can do to get him elected and talk to anybody you know in this district and make sure that they get out to vote and they bring 5 people with them to vote for Michael Cassidy. And we could do this and we could save our country. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below. And join the website and buy the merch. The links are in the pinned comment. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle, out.